Welcome back everyone to chemistry. We're on to lesson 2 of unit 9. So, today we're still talking about solutions, but not about the definitions of what's a solute and what's a solvent. Today we're going to talk about how can you calculate the strength of a solution. How strong is it? How dilute is it? Alright, so here's our learning goals. We're going to do percent by mass and percent by volume today. Right, there's 5 different ways of calculating the concentration of a solution, and they're percent by mass, percent by volume, molarity, molality, and mole fraction. Now of these 5, we're only doing the first 2 today. We'll do the next 3 the following Wednesday, but molarity and molality are the most common and the most used. But in order to understand what those really mean, understanding what percent by mass and percent by volume are can be very helpful. So we're going to define these things, and then we're going to solve problems with them. And that's it. So we're just doing 2 different math things today. So let's take a look at what these concentrations are. Let's define them. What do they mean? So here's the definitions for all 5. The most common ones are molarity and molality. Now, molarity is the moles of solute divided by liters of solution. Remember, the solute is what you dissolve, right? Like in salt water, it's the salt. And the solution is the whole thing, right? In salt water, salt is the solute, water is the solvent, and salt water is the solution. So the molarity would be the moles of your solute divided by the liters of the whole solution. Molality is slightly different. Molality is your moles of solute divided by the kilograms of solvent. Weird, right? But it's solute and solvent instead of solute and solution. All right. Mole fraction, the 5th one, is the moles of solute divided by the moles of solute plus the moles of solvent. A little bit of order of operations there. Now the 2 we're concerned with today are percent by mass and percent by volume. All right, percent by mass is the mass of solute divided by the mass of the solution times 100 because it's a percent. So it's the solute and the solution. All right. It's not the solvent. It's all the solute and the solution entirely. So it's the salt divided by the salt water, not the water. All right. Percent by mass uses mass. Percent by volume uses volume. So same way. It's volume of solute divided by volume of solution times 100. So relatively straightforward. All right. We're going to work with both of them today. I'm going to give you an example. Then you're going to have some practice problems. Then we'll go through the answers to those practice problems. And then after that, you will have a short homework with some practice problems for you to do. So let's get into it. First one, percent by mass. Now you'll have to forgive that I've typed it out instead of writing it out, because as you can see, I have many books here but no chalkboard. So you'll have to deal. Here's the equation at the top to remind you. It's mass of solute divided by mass of solution times 100. So here's the question. Ocean water contains 3.6 grams of sodium chloride per 100 grams of H2O. What is the percent by mass of sodium chloride in the solution? Well, in order to find the percent by mass, we're going to have to find the mass of the solute and the mass of the solution, and then multiply those by 100. So, the solute. What is the solute? Well, the solute is the thing being dissolved, and so that's the sodium chloride, the salt. Right? The solvent is water, but the solution is the whole thing put together. So let's find those numbers and plug them in. First, mass of solute. All right, the mass of solute is 3.6 grams of sodium chloride. All right, that comes right out of the problem. But the mass of the solution is not given. All right, the mass of the solution is going to be the solute plus the solvent. So to calculate the mass of the solution, we'll have to add solute plus solvent. So the solvent is water, and we have 100 grams. That's what the problem says, right? And so the mass of the solution, solute plus solvent, is 3.6 grams of salt plus 100 grams of water, which in total is 103.6 grams. Hopefully you didn't need your calculator for that one. So we now have our mass of solute and our mass of solution. So since we have both of those numbers, we can now calculate our percent by mass. So I'll plug those numbers in. we'll take 3.6 grams, which is our mass of solute, divided by 103.6 grams, which is our mass of solution, times 100. You plug that into your calculator, and you'll find that it's 3.47%. Remember to give your answers with 2 decimal places. We'll talk about significant figures at the end of the year, but just for now, as usual, your answer should have 2 decimals. So 3.47%. So ocean water is 3.47% by mass sodium chloride. All right. Now, very important, it is the mass of solute divided by mass of solution. If you did solute divided by solvent, you would take 3.6 divided by 100, and you would get 3.60%, but that would be wrong. So you have to calculate the mass of the solution. Now, I would like to see if there were any questions, but I can't. So we're going to move on to the practice problems. All right, so 3 problems to practice with. The first one is repeated. The second one says, what is the percent by mass of 20 grams of NaHCO3 dissolved in 600.0 milliliters of H2O? Now, remember that 1 milliliter of water has a mass of 1 gram, so you do have grams of H2O here. So you're going to take your mass of your solute, find the mass of your solution, and then take solute divided by solution times 100, and that'll be your answer. For the third one, it's a bit trickier. It's the same sort of question, just backwards. It says, your solution weighs 1,500 grams, and it's bleach. That's what the solution is. All right. The percent by mass of the solute, which is sodium hypochlorite, is 3.62%. So, how many grams of sodium hypochlorite are in the solution? Well, let's look at what it gives us. All right. It gives us mass of solution. It gives us percent by mass. And so we're just solving for mass of solute. So what we're going to have to do is rearrange the equation. All right, you're going to have to take your 3.62% divided by 100 times the mass of solution to get mass of solute. You can rewind if you need to hear that again. So I'm going to give you this opportunity to work on these problems. You should now pause the video, work through the problems, and then when you unpause it, we'll go through the answers. I'm assuming you paused it and did the work because you want to be good learners and you didn't just not pause it because you want to see the answers and don't care about the work. So here's the answers. All right, the first one is 3.47%. We did this one together. The second one is 3.23%. Now, here's how we got that. I took solute, which is 20 grams, divided by solution. Solution is solute plus solvent. So 20 divided by 620. And then I took that times 100, and so I got, 0.0323 times 100 is 3.23%. All right, so 20 divided by 620, because it's solute plus solvent together, times 100. Next, for the next one, it was a little trickier. All right, here's what I did. I took 1,500 divided by 100, all right? Then I took that times 0.0362, and it gave me 54.30 grams. All right, that one's a little bit trickier. You got to write out the equation and solve it backwards, but nothing like that will be on the homework at least. So take a look at this answer. The answers are right here on the bottom. Compare them to the answers you got. All right, if you didn't get those answers, all right, if you got a different answer, you should try reworking the problem. And if that doesn't work, feel free to send me an email or leave a comment under the video, and I'll do my best to answer your questions in the next video. All right, so that's percent by mass. Next, we're going to look at percent by volume. And as it turns out, the math is basically exactly the same. So the equation, instead of mass of solute divided by mass of solution, is volume of solute divided by volume of solution times 100. So here's an example problem. What is the percent by volume of ethanol in a solution that contains 35 milliliters of ethanol dissolved in 115 milliliters of water? Well, we're going to have to find the volume of solute, the volume of solution, and divide them, and then multiply that by 100. Well, the solute is easy. It's ethanol, all right? It says so, because we're solving for percent by volume of ethanol. So, volume of solute, 35 milliliters. The solvent is water, but it doesn't give us a volume of solution. We're going to have to find the volume of solution. So, we'll take our solute plus our solvent to get our solution. Yes, lots of S words. That'll be 35 milliliters of ethanol plus 155 milliliters of water will give us 190 milliliters of solution. That's how much the whole thing weighs. That's the solution, everything put together. So we can then take our solute divided by solution times 100. So when you take 35 divided by 190, you get 0.1842. Get that on your calculator. Take that times 100, and you find that the volume, or rather the percent by volume of ethanol, is 18.42%. So it's much the same as the last problem. Solute divided by solution times 100. Just plug it into your calculator. And in this case, any old calculator will do. So, with this in mind, let's go to the practice problems. The first problem is the same. The second problem is different. The second problem asks, what is the percent by volume of isopropyl alcohol in a solution that contains 24 milliliters of isopropyl alcohol in 1.1 liters of water? Now we have two different units of volume here. All right, you remember pressure conversions? Here's a volume conversion. 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. So convert that 1.1 liters of water into milliliters before you solve for the volume of the solution. So you'll identify your solute, find the volume of the solution, and divide them, take them by times by 100. Now, side note, isopropyl alcohol kills bacteria and viruses at a strong enough solution. You need a percent by volume of 70% isopropyl alcohol in water to kill viruses. Fun fact, that information might be useful for you in these online learning times where you should be washing your hands and sanitizing your surfaces. So, take this opportunity now to pause the video, work through the practice problems, and then we'll go through the answers together. Yes, actually pause the video. Yes, actually do it. All right, here's the answers. First one, we worked through together as the example. It's 18.42% by volume. Now the second one, the percent by volume of isopropyl alcohol in water is 2.18%. Here's how I found that. The volume of the solute is 24 milliliters. The volume of the solution is 1,124 milliliters because my solvent is 1,100 milliliters and my solute is 24. So 1,100 plus 24 is 1,124. So 24 divided by 1,124 is 0.0218. In fact, it's 0.0218181818, and so on. I took that times 100, and I got 2.18% by volume. So, hopefully that math is relatively clear to you. If you have any questions about maybe your answer, you got a different answer, feel free to leave a comment under the video or email me, and I'll do my best to get you the solution. Now, we have a homework assignment. Now, it's very brief, all right? It's 2 questions on percent by mass and 2 questions on percent by volume. It's multiple choice. You may redo it, but it's a Google form. It is not a ProProfs assignment. So you will find it on OnCampus under assignments. You'll need to complete it. It'll open up on today, Friday, all right, and it will be due next Wednesday, which I believe is April 1st. So let me show you where to find this homework. All right, you go to OnCampus, and you'll open up your chemistry area. You'll go to assignments. For me, it's in future right now. You'll click on your assignment number 2, 327. You click the link, either link, and here you are. Here's your homework. 2% by mass, 2% by volume. Should take you maybe 10 or 15 minutes if we're lucky. So, that's all for today. That's your chemistry for the week. I'll see you again on Wednesday. Please email me or leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll get back to you. Good luck with your homework.